But I just say, we want to just check on everybody. Mental health. It doesn't matter where you are in this pandemic world. You still need to be checked on. I don't care if you're making the money, if you're not making the money. It doesn't matter. We still need to be checking on each other and taking care of our mental health. Because sometimes we could be so busy doing stuff we miss it. We miss what's really going on in our lives. So let me turn Mary J down because she is, she's doing her thing tonight. But welcome to the Authenticity Podcast. Now, we talk about everything authentic here. Transparent, authentic. That's what we do. We do our thing. So tonight I have with me, her name is Miss Crystal Rose, and she is the owner of Loving Self to Mental Freedom. And guys, I just want you to listen to, not only her story, but actually dig in deep, because you may know somebody that may not only need her services, but someone that could benefit from just, the freedom of it all, which I'm going to let her talk all about her business and her brand. I'm bringing her in now. Y'all know how this live goes. We got to bring, give ourselves that piece of, here we go. Give ourselves technology do its thing. So we're going to wait for her to come on. Hey!
How are you?
Look at you. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. You are beautiful. I love the red. I love color. So
beautiful as well.
Thank you so very much. So, like I was saying, guys, welcome to Authenticity Podcast, and this is my guest, and her business is called, or in this case, her brand that she's promoting today, it's called Loving Self to Mental Freedom. And we have on the screen, and excuse me if I'm saying it wrong, but I'm saying Crystal. Do I need to be saying Crystal?
No. Either way, it's Crystal. It doesn't matter how you say it, as long as you try your best.
That's me being extra. I gotta throw that all Crystal, Miss Crystal on the line. So tell us all about your brand and what you actually do.
Okay. Loving Self to Mental Freedom is a life coaching practice. The foundation is built on changing women's mindset about pain and trauma. It also has several layers to that. You just can't start coaching someone and then it automatically changes their life. And that elaborates on the mission statement and healing mind, body, and spirit one heart at a time. Once you change the mindset of an individual that has been traumatized or been through really some detrimental pain, and help them to see that they're not a victim.
Yeah.
And then you change how they feel about themselves and how they feel about the situation that they've been through. And once you do that, you change the mind, the body lines up with the different mindset. And then your spirit lines up.
Mm-hmm.
Then your heart. And then you're a whole nother person. You think differently about the pain that you've been through.
So you said the heart first.
No, the mind.
No, the mind first.
Mm-hmm. You change
spirit.
The mind. No.
See.
That's
okay. See what I'm talking about? Because I guess I'm a little dyslexia. That's okay. We're gonna go ahead and go with what she said.
That's okay. You change the mind first.
See?
Once you change your mind, everything for us, the body start changing.
Okay.
Then your spirit changes. Your outlook on life, your outlook on everything, your whole environment changes because you're thinking differently. And then your heart changes. And then your heart it changes to want to help other people which have been through the same traumatic pain. And that's why I've built this life coaching practice, because I am a sexual abuse victim, and it has caused me to want to help others.
Beautiful, beautiful. Where does one get that strength from? I know you've talked about what you do, and of course the severity of it, and also like what brings you to who you are now. But what gives that strength? Like, how long did it take, and just overall, because it has to have come from deep within for you to want to help and even talk about it.
Hmm. Well, the strength that it had given me was my daughter. When
Hmm.
she turned the same age I started being abused, she turned 3, and my mind just went crazy because
Hmm.
I became this person that wanted to protect her from everything. And I thought I was doing something good, but I was actually hindering her. I was
Hmm.
putting my pain and my being a victim onto her without me
Hmm.
knowing that. She couldn't go outside. I didn't let her go over other people's house. And if she went over to her dad's house, I needed to know who was around. I was
Hmm.
constantly going through these anxieties attacks, even when she was at school, because I felt like I needed to be there to protect her no matter what.
Hmm.
And after she kind of exploded, and she's like, Mom, like, you killing me. And she's 3. How does she digest what I'm doing to her? She doesn't understand. All she knows, she just want to be a kid and be happy.
Yeah.
And when she exploded, I kind of stepped back, and I knew I needed help with that because I
Hmm.
didn't want to cause her to be in such a traumatic state. And she was only a kid, and I was forcing that on her. And I know I needed to change. I started praying, meditating, and then after I realized that that wasn't enough, I started seeking professional help.
Hmm. Now, I know in our culture, in our community, we first go to the church. We first go to, of course, God, and then you seek out, ministers, evangelists, and things like that. That's just kind of where the steps take you before therapy.
Mm-hmm.
So how did, and we didn't get into your personal life first, I kind of wanted to leave that room for you to say, to give you the room to step in to give that part.
Okay.
But how did that change that conversation from the pastors, the evangelist to the therapist? Like, what was just the major difference, if any?
Well, it just wasn't enough.
Hmm.
I still was going through some symptoms. I started to feel overwhelmed and very
Hmm.
stressed, where I started hallucinating. Um,
Hmm.
my mind started just kind of going places that it shouldn't have been going. So I knew I needed help. I knew I needed help. And that's when I sought professional help.
I've been to a therapist. When the same similar to what you were saying, as far as like when you start, navigating your children in another place. I am not, for the record, I am not a sexually abused victim, but I am a Black woman that has went through some things that I felt I needed help with from a therapist. Because like most, I did go to the church. Not saying anything is wrong with going to church, going to your pastor, anything like that, but I too felt it was not enough. Not saying God was not enough, but
Right.
I needed to give myself that opportunity to say, I've tried this, I've tried that.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately the person that, or the what happened was I did seek God more, and I was able to overcome, most of those things that I went through, and I was blaming, people for. So my experience with therapy was to be able to get a biased opinion, to be able to get that um, real reflection of who you really are and what you can accomplish with just talking and giving yourself time, so shout out to all the therapists and people that have been in therapy. It's nothing wrong with it. It's not you're not having a mental breakdown, you're not crazy, it's healthy. It's healthy because you get the resources that you don't get from your best friend. You
That's
get
right.
the resources that you don't get from your mother. You get the resources that you don't get maybe from a pastor or an evangelist, because they have their own set of resources. You know, the pastor will tell you to go to the Bible. Your best friend will tell you to, let's go for some wine. You know, your mother may tell you, baby, let's, I don't know, whatever your mother may tell you to do. But specifically with the therapy, it did help. So kudos to you. I'm glad that you did seek that part of it. And like you stated, I love that it wasn't enough.
It wasn't. And in
So,
our culture, it's very hard for us to, because it's generational, and our parents are
mhm,
thinking, you don't go to anyone to talk about your personal business. It's frowned upon to seek counseling
mhm,
or therapy, but it's the best thing that ever happened to me. The best thing.
yeah. Anything I believe that you went through as a child, whether it was at that level of abuse or, just maybe seeing your parents argue all the time, anything that kind of alters the innocence of who you truly are or the authenticness of who you are, I think that that's needed. Even if you may not be having any problems,
Right.
in my opinion, going to a therapist is life changing. It gives you, like I stated, that reflection that you can look at and say, dang, this is kind of who I really am. And I need to pull back from that, or I need to push past it.
Hmm.
Definitely. Okay. So with your program that you have at the for mental freedom, what are some of the resources that you can gather or that you do offer to your clients?
Well, each client is different depending on what particular trauma they've been through, and to see where they are. Just having a 5-minute conversation will tell me where they are in their healing journey, or even if they're in the healing journey.
Hmm.
Some may feel that they're ready, but they have to understand that you have to do the work. It's a 10-week program. As I stated before, we're going to work on your mindset, and it's going to be customized to you where you are in your healing journey, as I stated. But working on the mindset and everything else after that is going to be a breeze. Now, if I come across a client in the middle of the 10-week program, and I'll be able to say, well, I don't think I can help this person. I do have a referral program that I could refer that person out to.
Hmm. Okay, beautiful. So, this is a kind of tough question because I've just kind of noticed over the years being an adult myself. It, or I can't say is, so, well, okay. Do you see more men as abusers than women, or is there like a big difference when you're trying to help, or that you've actually seen that the men would be different?
What I've encountered is more men being sexually abused. And I think the men are the toughest to deal with. They, from my experience, men feel more comfortable having a woman coach and not going directly to a man coach. And you would think it would be the opposite, but it's not. But men, most men, I think, in my experience, I'll say 65% men and
Wow.
35% of the women that are open to healing. But I know there's more women than that. It's just those are the ones that has come to the point that they're ready to heal.
Beautiful, beautiful. When you think about our economy right now and like what all we're going through, are there resources besides yourself that the government, the economy, our city, our state officials do that they offer to that you feel like that really helps?
To answer that question, no. I've been
Hmm.
through those systems and they didn't help me.
What do they need more of?
They need more psychiatrists that really care and want
Hmm.
to work with you on a natural level instead of just giving you medication to, like a
Hmm.
band-aid, covering it up. They see you going through, and you can talk for a whole hour and you could just tell that they're not concerned. And I'm not saying that's how they started. I think that's how they end up. And they're not concerned. They just, okay, well, here's the prescription. And that's not where you want to go. That's not the first step. It's prescriptions. It's not, because it's altering your mindset chemically, and you're not able to um, get the techniques that you need towards the healing if your mind is already altered through medication. There's no way you can comprehend what you need to do for its healing if you're being altered through medication.
That's very interesting that you would say that, because when I do think about how when children are put on medications for ADHD and there's probably other I can't think of them off the top of my head, but I've always been against it, of course, because I am the holistic, I like doing everything natural. I don't try to take any medicine for anything.
Right.
I'll lay here and die and just, and just So I am always against it. So when you're saying that, and we're in that situation right now where we're having to take a vaccine. They're pushing it on us. Whether you will get COVID or not, you'll have to take something that'll alter, maybe not the brain, but your body will, react in different ways. So, just really hurtful, to just know that people are out here, like you said, they don't care. So they'll just put a Band-Aid over anything and that's our economy. That's what the world we live in. So we do have to take initiatives like programs like yourself, and take that initiative to give it to someone else, to say, hey, here's some resources that are natural. Here's some resources that are authentic that you can take that would help you in a way that we really do care. And we're not just trying to cover it up and just get you on by your way and to get you through the day. We're actually trying to change your life.
Right.
Beautiful. So the group studies, I've seen people that have groups and they want to talk about the sexual abuse in a group. Do you feel like one is, more beneficial than the other?
I don't think everybody qualifies for a group setting.
Wow.
That you need to speak to the individual first, because most people want to sign up for the group setting because it's cheaper. It's cheaper than one-on-one. But a lot of individuals are not ready to discuss their personal business in front of other people, even though they're in the same similar situation. You have to be ready for that. So you're not ready to speak to someone that on a personal level, like your best friend, a close friend, and tell them what happened to you. So how are you going to be in a group setting with people you don't even know and talk about your process? You're not going to do it. You're going to sit there and you're going to digest everybody else's topic, and that's not helping you. Because in order to start your healing program, you have to be comfortable enough to speak about it. And as you speak about it, you heal, and you're healing your emotional standpoint. Because when most people talk about their trauma, they start breaking down. So that's why they don't talk about it at all. But as you continue to fight through and continue to tell your story to whoever will listen, it's healing. And if you can start that process, I say kudos, because a lot of people can't do that. So I like the group setting, but it has to be a qualification for you to be in a group setting. I think you need to do personally one-on-one first. Get comfortable with telling that person, another individual, one-on-one, and then you can see how you can help the individuals in the group instead of just sitting there and listening to their story. So you guys will be able to help each other and not just one person doing all the work.
So you guys heard that first here from Miss Crystal, is definitely getting that personal time first, whether it be with somebody that you because I think now, if I was to be approached and they were to say, hey, I need to talk to you about that I've been sexually abused, then I can take their to someone like yourself, take their story or take their situation to someone like yourself. And then I can, because now I know that there are programs out here that people are really caring about and trying to heal them versus, well, let's go look for a group of people. Now I know that it's better to be on a one-on-one basis. And like you said, allow them to be qualified to go into that next step. Because I think after that, they could probably heal someone else with just their story or them being that transparent to say that. So
right.
beautiful information. I'm intrigued. So man, with social media right now, people have been really telling their stories, whether it's been 10 years, 30 years, Do you think that's healthy? Because I know this is a platform that you can say whatever, whether it's a business page or personal page, you can say whatever you want to say. It's social media, it's your page. But do you think that's healthy? And I'm talking about, I've seen groups of people like tagging all their cousins and stuff, and then they want to say, well, so-and-so did this to me, and they'll tag the person who did it. So do you feel like that's healthy? Is that a person that's healing? Is that a person that's hurt? Like, what does that look like to you?
That's not a person that's healing. That's a person that is revengeful and seeking restitution by telling everyone they know and anybody that will listen. At that point, if a person is that angry and is seeking restitution, it's not healthy, because then they're not careful about what they say. And if you're on a healthy healing journey, you don't have to mention the victims. You don't care about them. It's not about them, the person that assaulted you. It's about you. So naming individuals is not a healthy thing, because then you cause other issues. And you
Wow.
have to be ready for the negative feedback once you do so on a platform like this. So it all depends on the individual, but I wouldn't do it unless I was in a clear mindset. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, because I've seen on posts, after they've shared the post, of course, after you're on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and they share the post, and then you can see inside of the timeline, people would say, well, why you didn't go to the police then? Or why didn't your father or mother try to, alter the situation then? It's a whole thing. Like you stated, it creates way more issues and problems than they have at that time. So prayers for them, for those victims, because I always see that, and then I'm subject to want to help in so many ways. But when you see that they've tagged their victim or they've exposed these people, then it's like, well, so what's the time frame in jail, if any, that the state of Texas, or if you do know, or anywhere, that a victim, an abuser would stay in jail?
I have no clue far as the time. It all depends on the case, I would think.
Gotcha.
I don't know any time frame. I guess that is something that I need to be concerned with.
Nah, don't let me get you to research in that one, because I know it's so many levels. Like we're talking as an adult, but if somebody was hurt at 3, or like you were saying, and then they grew up or whatever, depending on if their parents or whoever took the next step, then I'm sure
Right.
they would be subject to that case by case basis. So an abuser.
Mm-hmm.
It's so many things that I want to say about an abuser, because you can talk about their childhood, like what made them do that. Were they done that way first, or the sick mind? You go into all of that. But I've been told, or I've was on another podcast, and they were explaining that it was like modern day, or it was like I guess we got it from slavery, and I'm like, I mean, how can you determine where it starts? Like, no, I don't think you can actually pinpoint where the sexual abuse has started from. And I wouldn't just specifically say it came from slavery. Like, there's like just not a long line of proof. But I wanted to hear your take on that.
So why would they put that onto slavery? I have no idea. But with my experience, um, the ones that have been assaulted is because, and it's a chain reaction, it's because they have been that way. So you ever heard the phrase hurt people hurt people?
Yes, ma'am.
Some point, I don't really believe that's true because I've been hurt and I don't hurt other people in that matter.
Right,
So
right.
at some point, I'll say 50-50, but a lot of the people that I've come across have been hurt, and the reason why they passed it on to whoever, they sexually assaulted or abused. So it just don't pop in your head. It comes from somewhere.
Mm,
Somebody has done something to you, and especially if it happens at a young age and you don't really know if this is right or wrong, you just continue
true.
the habit. And it's sad to say, but it just continues on until somebody say enough is enough.
Man, that is so true. Thank you for that because I do. I mean, I'm not saying I argue, but in my head, I argue because I'll read it and I'll listen to people that talk about it and they'll go back and forth. And I'm just like, I believe it's definitely a choice. Like you stated, you've been hurt and you're not trying to give that hurt to anyone else. And then you have someone else that they've been hurt and they just, I believe that they decided on their, themselves because they can use that as a excuse,
Mm-hmm.
but it's definitely a choice. Like anything else, it's a choice.
Right.
This is some good information. Who is that down there? Coaching services. Yes, that is I guess that's Right Life dot coaching services. Yes, this is some good information. I'm learning, so I appreciate you, Miss Crystal, for giving this information.
Excellent. Here.
So your program, you have the 3-day free tips or the training, and then you have the 10 week.
Mm-hmm.
So what gives that, length of time? Like, why is it not 2 weeks or why is it not even longer? Especially if you're an adult talking about it and this happened a long time ago. So talk about your program and why is it structured the way it is?
As I said, it's more customized. I think
Okay.
10 weeks is, not the maximum, but the minimum to get you
Hmm.
on the journey. But once I speak to the individual and find out what their goals are and where exactly they are in their mind, it may be longer. But to start, we definitely need 10 weeks because
Hmm.
it's going to take that because when you're talking about it, like I said, you're going to be emotionally, disrupted and you're going to want to quit in between. But you have to have someone to coach you through and say, no, you can't quit. This is the best part. And once you get through that part, then it's going to be a breeze. You just have to keep on, encouraging the client to go through it, and I'm living proof. It's not easy. It's definitely not easy because it was plenty of times I wanted to quit. But going through it and having God by my side, I went through it and I am so glad I did. I'm so glad I did.
I'm so glad you did too, because then you have created this program that is it's going to help many people from the mind, from the body, the spirit, and the heart. And I love the way it's structured because after looking at it and then doing a commercial or whatever, and then just kind of researching myself, just before even our conversation, just how like you were saying, that's why I asked about the government and the economy because they don't care. So to get people that are passionate about um, um, their purpose,
Right.
because you have the pain that you have to, obviously you had to go through the pain and the hurt to get through the process of healing. But to be able to talk to these people and give them a piece of yourself is so much strength. It's so much courage.
Thank you.
So kudos to you. Many applause. I wish I had one of those buttons that, it starts clapping for you. But I'm gonna clap myself. Okay. Because I find so much joy in seeing that firsthand because it is something that everybody can't do. You know, you may have someone that just carried that all of their lives and they never talked about it. They never gave themselves a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And it may have passed to their children. You know, I've seen so many cases where it happens to the child and the mother and the daughter never speak about it. And it may be from the same person, or it just may have been, you know, just totally different. I know Pamela Greer, I hope I'm saying her name right. She talked about that, how she was raped several times throughout her life.
Mm.
And it was so like, you know, what attracts? You know, that's kind of where my mind was when I first heard about it. Like, you were this age and you got attacked or abused, and then you were this age. So was it that you like, you know, what is it that, and that's just me, you know, because that's just what I thought then. Now it's kind of more like, God, you know, heal that part of my brain / heal them, because I don't know what it was that, how they got that sexually assaulted that many times.
Oh, it's amazing that you would say that, because when I was quote unquote a victim,
Hmm.
I was sexually assaulted several times by different people. And
Wow.
as I was growing up, I'm, what do I carry around me? Is there some a
Wow.
sign that says this is the person you need to, sexually assault? It's okay. Get her. She has a sign on her forehead. And it took a long time for me to get over that, because I didn't know, how do these people even know each other? Are they having a meeting saying we're going to get this particular person? It's like, how does this happen? So I went through that in questioning and like, why did they choose me? But once you get over that, why, and once again, I'm a victim, then you can start your healing process, because it's no longer about them. It's about you.
Wow.
You're responsible
Wow.
for your own healing. You can't push the blame on someone else. It happened to me. Yes, it did. It happened to so and so. Yes, it did. So now what are you going to do? Are you going to
Yeah.
lay in your shame and continue to be a victim to the day you die? Or are you going to decide that you're going to heal, you're going to get over this, and you're going to live the best life you possibly can? It's up to you. It's a choice.
I'm so glad I even mentioned her, because now that you've said that, and then me thinking about anything else, I don't want to take sexual abuse and put it down here below anything else. You know, it holds the weight that it holds on anybody's life as a victim. But I think about that, like you stated, like, what is it about me that, you know, people feel like maybe they could use, you know, just putting it in a different context, because that's kind of how I felt about situations. So then you are right. Like, dang, do I got a sign over me that says, you know, I'm the person to go to for this abuse, you know? Um, that's for definitely another conversation with a one-on-one, you know, with someone, because they may have those questions. So guys, the people that are looking, and definitely this live will be posted, but if you know someone and they have multiple times that they've been abused, and like we're saying, they haven't come to anybody and said anything, it is very important to know that you're not alone.
That's right.
And you need to talk with someone, whether it's one-on-one or someone like Miss Crystal that can help you just reach those small steps first. But not only that, not thinking that you being in that multiple reign, that it's your fault. You
Right.
know, you can not, you just have to start your healing process, because with any context, believe me, you have, I believe it was kind of like more of like a purpose, like it was like a purposeful thing. Like, maybe this happened to me so I can help somebody else that may have been worse off than what I was going through. Or, you know, because
I
I,
call
cause I
those,
don't ever want to,
I,
I don't ever want to say that it was, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I call those hidden blessings, and
Gotcha.
that's where I am. It happened to me because it was a hidden blessing for me to be able to help other people. So I'm happy to go through it, and I'm happy to assist wherever I can to help someone else reach the point that I have reached.
Beautiful, beautiful. And just for the record, whoever is watching this, I'm not taking sexual abuse and putting it below anything else that we have or they will go through in life. Believe me, I hold it to exactly where it is because that is important to me because I have girls that are growing up, and who's to say that it would never happen or that it would happen to them. So believe me, I'm here to help where I need to. So definitely, I thank you for that. Um, Long-term consequences or long-term, if you have anything that you like you saying earlier, hallucinations. What are some long-term things that you would go through or that you've seen people go through?
Personally, for myself, the hallucination was kind of the end result. But during my teenage years, I was abused from 3 to 11. So the long term effect of that is sexual promiscuity. Um,
Hmm.
you feel like the abuse is normal, so you allow the guys you date or you encounter to do the same thing. It became normal, and that's a long term effect that I had to get over and realize that this is not normal and you deserve so much more. And back to the sign, it's like, where's this sign on my forehead? How do I get it? Where is it? It's invisible. And it all became my in my spirit and my mentality and how I carried myself attracted those people. I
Hmm.
was broken, I was timid, I I just looked like I could be ran over. So immediately when people see that, those that are up to no good are drawn to that.
Hmm.
So once you decide you want to heal, your whole personality change, your confidence change, your
True.
mindset, you don't allow stuff like that to happen. It won't even reach your front door.
Hmm.
So you cut it off where it starts. But I didn't have that. I was insecure. I was not confident. I just felt like this is a form of love. So
Hmm.
whoever wants to do it to me, then that means they love me. So that's how it ended up. It's the twisted mindset because you rationalize why these things are happening to you. And that's the long term effect of having to turn your mind around and say no, that this stuff was not right from day one, and
Day
you have
one.
to change your mindset. Early on, I prostitution, and people think that you have to be on a corner to say, oh, she's a prostitute. No, you can
Hmm.
prostitute from anywhere you know
Hmm.
so I've been through that, and that wasn't shameful for me.
Yeah.
Now it's shameful because it's not right. But when you go through that sexual abuse, you're like I said, it's normal. It becomes normal. You don't care.
Well, what the heck do you call people that go through it and they ain't never been abused and they still
They
doing the
just
process?
lazy. They don't want to work.
Well, anyways, that's another conversation. That's just my personality. Let me get off of that. You know, I'll go there, Miss Crystal. So
I
let me
will
bring
too.
myself back. Ashley, shoot. Okay. So,
This is the truth.
what are some signs, if any, that you would give people that just to look out for when it comes down to an abuser?
For as little kids, young girls and boys, if they're always wanting to go home with you, you know can I, when you go over to their house and there's a little girl that can I come home with you, can I go home with you, can you take me? Yeah. And it's funny because when you think about that, I've dealt with so many young girls that have that same mentality. Can I go home with you? It's because they're trying to get out of an environment that they don't feel safe. You think that they're just asking you to go home with you because they want to be somewhere else, or they think that you're fun. No, they feel safe with you. Whatever triggers their mind to ask you, can I go home with you? They feel safe with you, and they're trying to get away from an abuser that's in the household.
Wow. Besides that piece of it, I've also seen where maybe the child may be too young, and maybe, like you said, they're used to it and they feel like it's a form of love.
Mm-hmm.
So then they're always around that person. I don't know if that's a sign and I'm just calling like I've seen it in the past. I'm like, she's just too attached to him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not her biological anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm noticing that she's very attached or very touchy-feely because that's probably what he does to her. So to think about that part, I think as an adult, what are some small pieces and bits that you may, you know?
Oh, I don't know. As an adult,
Right? What look, because that kind of is a little more like you would hope that people would be aware. But you know, sometimes you're not. I mean, if you saw the movie Four Colored Girls, the remake with Tyler Perry, you know, a regular woman trying to date and just got caught up.
and she's
Sadly.
fun while she's doing it, so you don't see. Well, I'll say this: as an adult, if you find that they're drinking a lot, doing drugs, doing things that alters their mind so they can sleep or get through the day, that's a sign something is going on. Because why do you feel like you have to drink or do drugs, or why do you feel like you have to alter your mind just to get through the day? That's a sign something is deep within you that's going on that you're trying to put a band-aid on.
And I know that you're right. Like I've just because I've been around people that have been sexually abused, and we've talked about situations before. So some of these things that you're telling me, definitely, I'm like, dang, you know, I wish I had that, so I could have told them that at that time. Because you know, not only that I did not know, but I feel like it may have would have helped them better, and I pray that they're doing better. But you're absolutely right. Just being able to be aware, and not only that, but seeing those small signs in them. I didn't think about the drinking at all, or in this case, the depression. That's kind of where I put that drinking with that depression kind of hand in hand. Not all the time, but in this situation.
But the only way you can truly pinpoint it is by asking that person questions and hoping that they, open up enough so you can kind of see where they can get the help.
Gotcha. I know that right now with the pandemic going on, a lot of people have been exposed to the sad reality that their child or whoever is being sexually abused. There was a situation up north. I think it was in Chicago where a girl was on her live virtual, and I believe I think the class ended, but she didn't turn off her computer, and a young man came in and sexually abused her. I think the teacher just kind of buzzed like the other kids out, and she just left it recording. And then they turned it in to the father, and I think right then and that day, they were able to take him in and found out he was a cousin. The child was staying at her grandmother's house while her father and mother went to work, and the cousin was sexually abusing the child. And there's been so many incidents like that with this virtual learning, with the pandemic. I remember the first, and I'm not smiling because I'm happy. I'm smiling because I'm in disbelief. The first couple of weeks, but when the pandemic started, so many children were dying because they were being abused, whether sexually or not. They were They were being killed. They were being hurt, and they were dying because they were at home and they didn't have that relief anymore to go to school and get away from it for a couple of hours. So which ended in them being deceased.
Oh.
So this pandemic has given us so much, good, bad. We have to take the good with the bad. I was a COVID victim. I felt death. I will say that. I was definitely very depressed. I was very hurt, just by the fact that I couldn't work because my kids, I couldn't work because I had COVID, but I couldn't work because I was not being taken care of by the government. Like, we're thinking they're supposed to come in and help us, but as an entrepreneur, they weren't. And it was just, or do you get out here and kill yourself because you're trying to still work and you got to wear your mask? And it was just a lot. So I know firsthand that we're all in this together. But overall, anybody that's out there, and I'm saying that because I'm closing out with us, but anybody out there that may or may not know someone and they may not want to talk about it with you, text them the information. People do that all the time. People post stuff on their pages all the time, and you don't even have to say anything. They may just scroll and see it, and then next thing you know, you're getting a phone call, Miss Crystal, because that's what prayerfully they would say, I just saw your information.
Wow.
So then that's where we can help in that way. It does not have to be, you have tell me and I'll help. No, just put it out there. Because it has to be where, like you said, they decide.
They have to decide. I know if I get that phone call that they are definitely ready. They're ready for him. They're ready.
Anything that you want to add to not only your services or talking about your brand and your services, but anything that would help for someone to come forward and get that to start their healing process?
Yes, I want to let them know that you're not a victim. It's not your fault. What someone has done to you, don't allow them to ruin your entire life. The best revenge, if any revenge, is to heal and become the person you know that you can be. And that's happy. And you're definitely not happy if you're holding something deep down within you that you haven't healed from. That's not true happiness, covering it up with alcohol and doing things that you know that are not right for yourself and putting yourself in danger. True happiness is living every day without that burden over your head. So please, if you don't call me, please call somebody and tell them. Get your story out to a comfortable person that you feel that's safe and that will not judge you. Because that's the most important part, is getting the story out. Don't keep it in. Keeping it in is only going to ruin you. So please tell somebody.
Beautiful. Where can they reach you at, Miss Crystal?
You can reach me at www.lovingself.com, or you can call 1-800-3-LOVING.
Okay. And guys, this flyer and her information is on our page. It will be on the caption for this live. You can always find this on the Geek Plus magazine Facebook or Instagram page, because we do keep all of our lives. And definitely, if you want to inbox me to get her information because you just can't find it for whatever reason, I have no problem. Everything is not disclosed at all. You don't have to worry about being known, anonymous. Believe me, you have my word as well. So when I think about that part, that's why I try to put these little bits inside of the live or inside of the conversation, because they just may not, want us to do it. But the more we talk about it, the more, like you said, they'll come to you. So like she stated, guys, you're going to heal from the mind, from the body, from your spirit. And then, of course, it changes your heart. I'm excited about that because now, knowing that, I want to use that for something else,
Go
just for
right ahead.
myself. I want to use that for myself. So, I'm excited about that part because you're never too old to learn. And of course, I love to talk about the mental health and talk about what brought you to who you are, because you are, of course, a great, like my friend Ebony says, a wonderful human being.
Thank you.
She calls everybody that. So now she got me calling everybody, a wonderful human being, because you need that encouragement and that inspiration to keep going in your field. So, my Black sister, thank you for that information and for coming and being on our platform to give us your light.
Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Very, very welcome. Guys, you have been blessed by another Authenticity Podcast with Geek Plus Magazine. We are the Geeks. You can market with us because we're here to inspire the artist and encourage the entrepreneur. And we're always innovating life. So please follow our page. Follow Miss Crystal at Loving Self to Mental Freedom, and just be able to stay in touch so that way we can help you guys heal from the mind, the body, the spirit, and the heart.
All right.
I'm peacing out, guys.